Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to draw realism, but obviously I'm just going to show you the way that I know how to do it. So just because the way I do it doesn't mean it's the only way to do it, if that makes sense. So what you're going to need is a sketchbook, any sketchbook, some coloured pencils, preferably Prismacolor or Faber-Castell, because I feel like they're the best ones to use for this, but really any other coloured pencil will be fine. Now I'm going to show you some examples of my realism drawings. So I'll take this sketchbook here. So this is a penguin, there's also a fox, then I did like a eagle, but obviously it's gone wrong on the doodle bit, that's why that post-it note's there. And then we have a lynx cat too. So yeah, they're just some examples of what I've done. So if we go to a fresh page, just like that. So today I'm going to be doing a mallard duck because I thought that that is the easiest thing to do. I have my reference picture here. You can find this on Pinterest, or you could just screenshot it and copy it from this video, I guess. Okay, so I feel like the best way to learn realism is just to do it and just to practice. Like, we could go through all the techniques on how to blend, or, you know, how to create textures and fur and stuff, but I feel like the only way to do it is just to do a piece, if that makes sense, because obviously that was my way of learning. I never learnt the techniques or anything, I just went straight in and drew the piece. So what we're going to do is start off with a sketch of the reference picture. So I'm going to quickly, well, I say quickly, but I'm going to take my time and, you know, sketch in this duck. It doesn't have to be perfect because the main part of it is the colouring, which is what helps it bring it to life. Now you can take your time with this, or you could just, you know, do it fast. This is quite a happy looking duck in this reference picture. And I feel like, obviously, now I've done that, I can see that the eye is too close, so it should be around here. Probably should have done the sketch first, before I started the video, but it's okay, because then you can see the whole process of how I do realism. Don't really think there's any right or wrong way to do it, but if any of you have tips in the comment section, you can let me know, and let other people know. Maybe there's some things I've missed, or... It's like a collar, isn't it, on the mallard ducks, like this, and obviously we go very light, we don't proper press down too hard. So then what I like to do is, after I've done the sketch, I'll just lightly go over. If I had my kneaded eraser it would be much easier, but I don't, so then I just go over it so you can still see it, but it's not too dark. Right, so I always start with the eye on my drawings because it's a great place to start. So if we zoom in here, I like to zoom right in and you can see the colours and the details more. So what I'm going to do is get the colours for this, so it's black, grey, brown and a darker brown, and then it looks sort of like purpley, if you can see that. So yes, that is what I'm going to do. Right, so I've zoomed in for this section so you can see the eye close up and what I'm going to do. Now I like to draw in the pupil, which is somewhere around there, and then obviously with zooming in you can see there's a tiny tear duct, so we'll go around like that. Now, if you take the lightest brown and you just lightly go inside the eye like this, just a light layer, don't need to press down hard. Figure with realism, it's all about adding layers. We will get a darker brown and go over the light brown area, but not all of it, just the outer rim, because remember we have to be constantly referring back to our reference image, and that is what it looks like. And then I like to just lightly go a little bit further up over that dark line and then switch back to maybe light brown and press a little harder and go over it so it blends like that. And then I like to take the dark brown again and go back over the outside, and then we'll switch to black, but let me just sharpen it because it's quite dull. Oh, that's another tip. You need to make sure that your pencils are really sharp. We're going to go over pupil, and in this reference image there is some white spots. So I like to just put one white spot in and then I'll go over it with a white jelly roll to add a little bit more inside. Right, so there is the eye, and if we go back to the reference image, we can see that it's really dark on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black pencil and go around the outside again. Just a really thin line. I feel like this video is going to be really long, but if you are enjoying it and you're finding it useful and you would like more of these videos, please leave a thumbs up below. Now that to me is the eye finished, but now we need to look at the outside parts. What I'm going to do is, I think it's like a grey colour to start with, so I'm going to take my grey pencil and I'm just going to go in a circular motion, in circles like that, all the way around the eye, but really do it really lightly. Don't press down hard, because obviously we haven't got to the fur yet. We're still on the eye. I'm going to zoom out on my reference picture. To me it looks like a dark green, but a grey dark green, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dark green, which preferably would be olive green, and just layer over the top. So just over that grey, make a nice layer of olive green, but again, don't press too hard. It's really important not to press hard. Now we'll take our grey again and go back around again in that circular motion. So there's like a hint of green, but it's pretty much grey, and I can sort of see a bit of purple in it. So I'm gonna find a purple colour. Let's say it's more of like a violet colour, because I can see the more colours that you layer, the more it sort of stands out, I guess. I hope I'm explaining this okay. So again, I'm gonna layer with purple this time. Now if we go back to our reference image, you can see that I've done this purple bit, but you can see it extends onto the beak section here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our grey colour again, and I like to outline the beak section so I can see it better, and then I draw out this dark pattern in a circular motion again. Again we'll layer over with the green colour in a circular motion, but very lightly. And now this is where the strokes start. So what I'm going to do is just I need to sharpen this pencil again. I always need to make sure that your pencils are sharp. Right, so now we're just going to do short lines in the grey colour. So I can see like there's a green pattern, so I'm just going to mark out the shape, and it starts to get green in this part. So now we need to find the right green, and sometimes it's different for all mallard ducks. They all look very different green. So to start with, we're just going to do a light layer of a green of your choice, preferably closer to that colour. But when it comes past the middle of the eye, you want to change direction and go from this way. So notice I went like that, and then when it went past the middle of the eye, I went back this way, because the direction of the strokes changed. I'm going to take my dark brown, and I'm going to, whoopsie daisy, I made a mistake. I'm just going to continue doing the strokes in that darker section, and then I'll switch to the purple and go over the same, and then we'll switch to another green and just again use the strokes. So really it's just all about blending and switching colours at this point. I need sort of a dark green, so now you'll see I'll end up with like a billion different greens, because that's just how I work. And obviously when you keep looking at the reference picture, you'll see new things, so I can see that it is quite dark around the eye. So I'm just going to add a light layer of black over the top in the places that are a little bit more darker. So towards the end of the back end of the duck, you can see turquoise colours. Probably from this section here, we'll work our way up and round using the turquoise. Well, aquamarine in my case. And the strokes are this way, from left to right, and we're just going to all the way till you get to around the middle of the eye. We have to switch to a dark blue Again, nice sharp short movements with your hand and then back with. And then we need a darker blue now. If you're following along with the reference picture, you'll know which part I am doing. Now you'll see that most people use the white coloured pencil to blend, but in the cases of animals I don't tend to use the blending that way, because obviously fur, it wouldn't really look like fur. The edge is blue indigo and then black as well. I feel like this is going to be such a long video. I hope it's helpful for some people. So I'm going to take a light blue pencil. You'll see I'll start to like lose my colours now because I've got so many out at once, but that's why it's good to be sat at a desk. So now you sort of just have to keep going over with different colours. Alright, so now we're going to do the top section, which is quite dark. So I'm going to start with a blue and just do a really light layer, and then we'll do a green as well. Got to keep that green theme because ducks are green. Well, mallard ducks are. Now this duck has like water on it, water droplets, but I'm not going to add those in. And then we'll switch to grey, a bit of a black actually. Again, we're just doing, oops, wrong colour. We're just going to keep going over the top. Right, so what I'm going to do now is speed up a bit and just go through the head section, and then I'll come back to do the beak, just so you're not like sat for hours, you know, watching me do this, because you basically hopefully should be able to get the gist of it. But yeah, I'll be back when I have done the next section. Okay, so now we've done the head section, we're going to move on to the beak. Now, the beak is pretty easy because there's no real texture involved, it's kind of just plain colour. So I'm just going to go over it in a yellow, again, going real lightly. And mallard ducks tend to have a little bit of orange in their beaks. I would highly recommend taking some orange, and obviously at the end of the beak it is black. So I'm gonna go, and in this reference image there is some white on the beak, so I'm gonna take grey and go over, and then use a lighter grey just to blend. So now we have this face colour. I'm gonna take a more of a yellow or a dark yellow and just fill in the sections that are a little bit darker. And obviously the light is coming from the top, so this section will be the lightest. And there's also some grey in the beak, so I'm going to use this light grey. I hope this has helped in some way. I don't really know if I've explained it properly, but if you've at least learnt something, I guess that's a success. And obviously everyone's realism style is different, so no realism looks the same, and everyone has different ways of working. I'm sure anybody else that does realism out there can agree with me on that one. So I have a tip if you are doing portraits. If you really want a smooth blend, you can use baby oil. I use that when I do my realism portraits, because it gives a really nice smooth effect. So we're almost finished. Just for this I'm just going to do a simple version. I'm not going to do too much because I don't want this video to be like 2 hours long. It's like a masterclass session, isn't it? But obviously I'm not a master at this. I'm just showing you how I like to do it. Now I'm going to take my white jelly roll and put some white highlights in. Now if you did draw this duck along with me, you can send it to me on Instagram, or you could post it there and tag me in it. I'd love to see if you drew a duck. Smudge some white highlights into there. And then obviously you can see, and then I'll add more highlights to the eye, because you can actually see that in the reference image. Now what I'm going to do is zoom out the bottom section, which is brown. I think it's brown. Yes. So for this part we're just going to, well, I'll zoom in actually so you can see. Colour the whole thing in brown, but obviously do it lightly, don't press down hard, because we're going to use some layers to this and they're all going to be up and down strokes. And then you can just start to press a little bit harder using lines. And obviously there's this belly patch that's really dark. I think this is one of the easiest parts of the video, or of this drawing. And then we're going to take a different brown, maybe sienna brown, because this looks quite sienna browny. Just going to go over it. But yeah, it's all about layering, and that's all there is to realism really. And don't feel discouraged if it doesn't look how you want it to look. With practice you will get there. We've got a darker brown anywhere, and then we'll layer over it with brown. Zoom out. Right, so now we're going to blend this section in a little bit more because it just looks, and for that I'll just use a little bit of grey. And then if we get some white chili, we can just go into the brown part so it looks like we're joining it together. Yeah, so I think this was a pretty long video. Okay, so yeah, here it is, the finished first tutorial. If you'd like me to do any more, or you need more explaining, just leave a comment below. And yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment below what you think, and comment a name for this duck in the comment section. And yeah, I'll see you next time with another video. Subscribe for more, and yeah, okay, bye.